Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me okay. If anybody's in here yet. You know my usual spiel I gotta do. I hope everybody's having a good Friday, start to the weekend. Hey, Jen. Thank you for being here, my love. How's your Friday going? Hey, Lady Fresh. Thank you. How's your Friday going? Do you guys have to work this weekend? Hopefully everybody's got the weekend off and I don't know, you can do something that you wanted to do for a while. And it's not hot as shit like it is down here. Oh no, poor Jen. Well, thank you for being here anyway, and at least you can listen. Hey, Fresh. How's your guys' Friday been going? I'm going to just give it a little bit for a couple people to come in here, and then I will get started. Oh, wow. So you guys are going to have to drive at night. Hey, NASA. NASA, yo, I got a bone to pick with you, NASA. What was up with the GTA last night? Who else was in the chat? I think it was King Ramon. That was like, we couldn't hear you, right? And then Larry was like, NASA, make sure you go in the, in the party or something. And he was like, make sure your sound is on. And then like 2 seconds later, we wouldn't be able to hear you again. And I'm like, ah, because we could hear Larry talking to you, but we couldn't hear you. Oh, you poor guys. 3 o'clock in the morning. How far do you guys have to go this time? Hopefully it's not too long of a drive. The only good thing about that, though, is that you guys get to at least have each other, you know what I mean? Driving like that. I used to love when I would have to drive really, really long distances, like to North Dakota and back, or Missouri, or, you know, stuff like that. I used to like to drive at night because the only people on the road are like maybe a couple cars and the semi trucks. That was about it. So you could get a lot of ground covered at nighttime because the minute it would turn like, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, no matter where I was, no matter what state it was in, if you got on the road, it was, you know, rush hour traffic. Then you had all the old people driving wherever they were going. It was mad. So I used to always like to drive at night. A lot of people don't, but I did. I definitely did because it was way less traffic. Yeah, NASA, you're bad. That was one of the main things I was looking forward to was being able to hear you and Larry talking back and forth. And it was a fail, my guy. Yeah, definitely, Lady Fresh. Make sure you get some sleep. And yeah, because I think, let's see, Larry and NASA did GTA last night. I don't know if you guys caught it, but so he didn't go live, so he'll probably go live tonight. Probably. One of us will be. You guys already know. Nah, Fresh Brown. That's right. Get at him, Fresh. You were on mute forever. Ha ha. That's funny. So, do you guys have any plans for the weekend? NASA, do you have any plans for the weekend? Anything big or exciting so I can vicariously live through other people? Hey, Laura. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here. Good, NASA. As you should. As you should. I'm just joking. Not really. But I'm just in here asking everybody how their Friday's going, Laura, and what people are doing for the weekend. The small talk I usually do before I get into the depressing things that I talk about. But yeah, definitely salute to everybody that's here so far. Thank you for being here. You could be doing a lot of other things, but you're here with me. That's awesome. Pat yourself on the back day. Yeah, I've got like a bunch of stories that I did and everything. So I've got to hurry up and try to, get some of these out. I don't know, like I'll start doing the Pop Smoke one first because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already heard about it, but I had done it a couple days ago, so I will start with that one first. Let me see. Give me just a second, guys. Okay. Let's see. Now, as you guys already know, probably, Pop Smoke, who was 20 years old, that is so young. But he was 20 years old and he was tragically killed at a home that he had rented out in Hollywood Hills, I think it was, back in February of 2020. After he was murdered, when it started to come out, what had happened, it was pretty messed up to say the least, right? I know there were a bunch of different reports going around. Everybody was talking about it, from the media to people online to everything, right? So there were some crazy stories out there. But one of the reports that I kept hearing over and over was that he was having a party or some get together, and that the murderer had snuck in and just shot him and left. And that was that. And I know the biggest thing I kept on thinking to myself after people were saying what had happened, like I was talking about yesterday with the child that went missing with the hotel that, they have cameras. I was like, okay, well, this is, Hollywood Hills. Like, if he's Airbnb-ing this place or whatever they're doing, there's probably cameras there. Or even if there aren't cameras, guys, right? Like, they got those doorbell cameras that everybody's going and buying. So, I don't really know if they had any footage of what happened, but nothing really came out about it that I heard. But as days went by and I kept on trying to listen for more stuff, plus you guys know it was all over everywhere, more reports and things started to come out. I know that we had learned that there was a picture he had posted to, I want to say it was his Instagram. And the picture that he took, he was with, I think it was just a friend, but they were outside of that house. And he ended up, when the picture was taken, they got the number on the house in the picture. Like, say that you live at like 205, whatever road. They had gotten the 205, on the house in the picture. So, and especially with like Google Earth and if you live in an area, people, can associate what your house looks like because they've probably seen it before or somebody has. So with him not even noticing that they did that, they took the picture, and like I said, I thought I had heard he had some sort of a get together. So he was probably just, having fun with friends and everything. And what happened had happened. There's a lot of stuff, like I said already, that we don't know, right? But it's understandable, because detectives usually do hold back certain details and clues. So when a suspect is arrested, or if somebody comes in and tries to confess, they'll have details that only that killer would know, that hasn't been put in the paper, that the public doesn't know about. And they usually keep information from us. That's why it's so, you get to watch the trial when it happens, and then all the details come out. That's another weird thing too, right? There's actually people that'll confess to crimes that they did not commit. I've always thought that is so wild. A couple of times, the reason that I've heard that people will do this is really small, but they'll do it for attention, or, which is, you see what people are doing nowadays for attention. It's disgusting, but they'll do it for attention, from the media or newspapers or whatever. There are also people that, how could you say? they're like maybe a little bit slower, or troubled a little bit mentally. But I've seen a couple of cases where they actually will think that they've done it, even though they didn't. But because they're a little bit, mentally challenged, like that they not like crazy, but just like slow a little bit. That if they go in and say that, oh yeah, I think I did this, and they get interrogated, they'll actually confess to it because they're scared and they don't know what's going on, and they can actually be um I'm not sure what the word would be, but they can actually be somebody's interrogating them, they will admit to it and say that they did it, even though they don't remember it because they didn't do it. So that's another thing that'll happen. uh I've seen, oh, let's see, I can't remember the case it was for, but it's happened a couple of different times that I've seen. But you'll get prisoners that are already in jail or prison, and they'll confess, knowing that they're lying. You guys have probably heard it before, but they still do it. And I know that there was one prisoner on a show I watched, and they asked him why he had confessed to like these murders. And he had said, well, he was already in for life, so there's not much more they could do to him. And he also said that he just wanted to get a day out of his cell and get maybe a soda, or they would get him something to eat. So, prisoners will actually confess to murders and things like that, just to get a soda. Also, I've heard, I think I heard about this maybe once, but it probably happens more than we know. And I actually had never really thought about it. But there was a guy one time, and I can't remember what he did, but he did like a life. He might have killed somebody. Yeah, I think he did. He had ended up killing somebody, and he had a friend that was already in for life, right? And he actually had gotten in contact with his friend and made a deal with him to where he was going to pay his commissary and everything and make sure he had like, it was something so stupid, like $100 a month on his books if he would confess to killing, who he killed, so he wouldn't go to jail. And it worked all the way up until the end. I can't remember what happened to where they caught him, but because his friend was going to be in prison for life, he was going to take the murder charge for his friend so his friend could stay free. Now that's some friendship. But yeah, they ended up catching on to it. I can't remember how, but it was wild. Wild, wild, wild. But yeah, that's one of the things that when these cases happen, they kind of sucks, right? Because we don't get the info that we'd like to get because they've got to keep some of it private just because of that. Let's see, what else? All right, well, let's do a little bit of a recap, right? We know that Pop Smoke was shot, of course. We know he was, found because of his location and that they had taken that picture. And oh yeah, and that the motive, the only motive that they really could come up with was robbery. They really didn't say any more than that, but that's kind of what was out there. Now, the current information that I was able to find that you guys might have heard of already is that there was, oh, how many? Hold on, let me think. Hold on, guys. Well, I can't remember if they let that out or not, so I'm just going to skip that. I can't remember. But anyway, the actual shooter that fired the shots that killed Pop Smoke is only 15 years old. Only 15. That, I'm not going to lie, kind of blew my mind a little bit. And we've seen these kids out here losing their actual shit, you know what I mean? So it's not surprising, but it is at the same time because 15, you would think that, the way they snuck in and did whatever they did, that it would have been maybe, people in their 20s at least. But yeah, 15 years old. Allegedly, he was running off at the mouth about what he had done at like every single facility that he had been at. Because I think it was last May, he was in like a juvenile facility, and I think they were on to him. Like they knew it was more than likely him. They just hadn't, figured out whether they were going to charge him as an adult, where they were going to put him till he has trial and all that good stuff. But he was recorded by one of his cellmates in one of the juvenile facilities that he was in, admitting like 3 or 4 different times that he had shot Pop Smoke. And remember how I told you guys that they'll keep the clues and things that they know that only the murderer would know, away from us. Well, when he was being recorded, he even said that he shot him with a 9mm Beretta. And that was one of the things that nobody knew but who had killed him. That was also brought up. He had a preliminary trial too, and they brought that up just to, kind of seal the bag, making sure that, they had the right guy type of thing. They did have a little bit of surveillance, which had showed right after 4 a.m. that there were 4 men that entered, the property by the way of the backyard staircase. I guess there was some sort of a staircase on the back of the house that went to the 2nd floor balcony. So it shows them in the back going up the staircase, and I guess because of other cameras, they could see the front of the house, because they were saying that 10 minutes before these guys went to the 2nd balcony, that somebody had locked the front door. So I'm not really sure if they saw that and they knew to go in the back way. Who knows? But somebody has allegedly locked the door in the front, and then 10 minutes after that, these guys were on the 2nd floor balcony. Now, they entered the master bedroom from the balcony. There was a woman that was actually there with Pop Smoke. I guess she was just, kind of chilling in the room or whatever. And they held her at gunpoint because basically what happened, because they had put certain things together, but also because of this woman's statement, which they haven't released who she is at all yet. But she said that she had heard him struggling with them because he was in the bathroom in the shower. So they, one of the guys had her at gunpoint, and then I guess all 3 of them were headed towards the bathroom where Pop Smoke was at. So she says that she heard him struggling because, he was in the shower. That would suck, y'all. And then she said that he had tried to run out of the bathroom, and then they shot him 1 time. He allegedly fell to the floor after he was shot, and 2 of the guys start to kick the shit out of him, which is super fucked up. But yeah, the 15-year-old who was being recorded telling part of this also, he said that they were trying to take Pop Smoke's jewelry. That's what this was about, right? And he said he started fighting. Pop Smoke did. He didn't want to, give it up to them or whatever. And they shot him 3 times. So while he was down, but he's still fighting, I don't know why he was showering with all that heavy-ass jewelry on, but I guess to each his own. And they ended up shooting him 3 more times. There was also one of the guys that was involved in it named Corey Walker. He's 19. He had been recorded too. These guys are slow, but he had been recorded too by an inmate, or a cellmate, sorry, saying how they had the ski masks on, the gloves, and they had a police scanner with them. Which is a little bit strange. I don't know if they thought maybe, they would be able to hear if the police were on their way. But that's a new one. I don't think I've ever heard of robbers actually carrying a police scanner with them. So that's a new one. But the guy, Corey, he said that when Pop Smoke was trying to fight, he was, completely butt naked, by the way. But somebody had also pistol whipped him too. Like, I think right before he had been shot the 3 times. And like I said, they were kicking him. And I can only imagine, like, that's horrible. Now, one of the guys had said they wanted his Cuban link chain, like the diamond Cuban link that he had. And they also wanted, I think it was his Rolex, his aftermarket diamond encrusted Rolex. Okay, now here's the fucked up part on top of the fucked up part. But they only ended up getting his freaking Rolex. That was it. I don't know, I guess, robberies, they can go left very quickly. So maybe with the adrenaline or, having to shoot him or whatever happened, they didn't get the other jewelry. But yeah, they literally only got his Rolex and they ended up selling it for $2,000. That's it. So Pop Smoke got murdered for $2,000 by some young ass children. The Corey Walker guy, he was placed at the crime scene because of his cell phone. His cell phone had pinged, right at Pop Smoke's Airbnb. And it was also his car that was an Infinity that I guess they had on surveillance that was used as the getaway vehicle. And I don't know about you guys, but like I said, this is so messed up. The way that they jumped him and killed him over $2,000. And then while he was in the shower, completely defenseless, can you imagine being in the damn shower naked and like, four grown ass men come in there and start whooping your ass? And like, that's horrible. Horrible. That's just it's so sad. One of the suspects, as he should, is being charged with first degree murder. The other three are being charged with attempted murder. I don't really know how that's working, but that's what I was able to find. They can always, that's one thing if you guys don't know, they can always take the charges once they have you, in jail, because they want to make sure you're going to be in there for a while and you can't like get out on something before your trial if you're high risk, which this would be, plus it's murder, and premeditated, which is capital. So, they can always add on more charges or they can elevate the charge. So when I was doing my research and I found out that the other three were only being charged with the attempted murder, I was it threw me back a little bit, but then I thought about it and I was like, oh, okay, well, they'll probably end up raising those charges, later on or whatever when they get, because it usually takes about 1.5 to 2 years for the lawyers to get everything together and then they go to trial. So hopefully they're going to charge them, I'm pretty sure they're pointing fingers at each other, but because of the two being recorded, they're kind of stuck with what they said they had done. I can't remember what video I did, you guys. Oh, what was it? Darn it. I hate it when this happens. Oh, I can't remember. I'll end up thinking about it right after I'm done with this watch. But anyway, I had done a video. It was probably about 2 weeks ago, if I'm remembering correctly. And I was saying, like, if you're ever being robbed and somebody wants, whatever they want from you, you can't replace you, so, people have seen it all the time, and especially with rappers now, like, they just seem to be targeted and, everybody's just gunning for whatever they have. Hold on real quick, guys. Hold on. I gotta lift jalapeno up here. Okay. But, all these rappers are losing their lives and you've got other people to get robbed that end up dying just for fighting over whatever there is trying to be stolen from them. Whether it's jewelry, whether it's money, whether it's both. And you could just give it to the robber, right? Like, I understand I wouldn't want to have to, give my stuff to somebody like that either and have a chance of maybe not getting it back, but you're going to be alive to talk about it or possibly get your shit back, right? There's too many people, like I had talked about a couple weeks ago, that are dying over, this dumb shit, whether it's money, whether it's jewelry, and with rappers, you don't know if their jewelry's fake or real. Like, these people that are doing these robberies are dumb as hell. But, I can't stress enough that be careful. If you guys ever get your, in that position, give them whatever in the fuck they want. Do not try to fight these people. They already don't give a shit, and they're already doing something that's pretty bad that more than likely they know they'll get caught for. So, like I said, everyone be careful out here because the world is losing its fucking mind. And oh, that's another thing too when I think about it, guys. You don't know what people are on out here nowadays. You there's all this mental illness out here. Then you've got all these people taking all these different kind of fucking drugs and mixing it with alcohol and shit. Then you've got, you know, people that are already just mean as hell. I mean, you gotta be careful because, like I said, people are on drugs out here. You guys have seen it where police will tase somebody and shit like that, and it doesn't even fucking faze them. It's crazy. I know when I got tased when I was in the middle, that shit hurt like a motherfucker. Like, I don't, I'm going down, whatever they were telling me I was doing. So for people to be able to, you know, get tased like that and be on something to where their adrenaline is high enough to where it doesn't even faze them, no, ma'am. I'm good. All right. I'm going to check the comments real quick, guys, and see if I'm missing any questions or anything. Shout out to everybody that's here. Like I said, shout out to Lady Fresh and Fresh Brown, Laura, NASA. And I think those were the people when I had started. Let me see if anybody else got in here. Oh my God. Victim-owned dry cleaning services. I cannot. That's funny. That's funny. Hey, Tariq. That is funny. But I'm going to leave it at that. So that's the stuff about Pop Smoke, if you guys didn't catch it. So, you know, it's good news that they've got these guys in custody. Oh, and let's see, it was last year when he had got murdered. So if you give it probably be another year before they end up having the trial. Like I said, I'm not really sure why it's always like a year and a half to 2 years. I think that's just because that's the time limit that the lawyers have to pull their heads out of their asses. So I guess that's why that happens. So I would say we're not going to see any. I hope they, you know, show it though, live feed it on Court TV, because I want to see that. So that was the Pop Smoke thing. Like I said, that was so horrible when you think about it. Even if you didn't like his music or anything like that, that boy was 20 years old. 20. I just can't get over that. That is so sad. So sad. So that was that one. I wanted to get that out of the way, though. So if you guys weren't able to hear about that, now you know. And like I said, I don't think we'll hear any more updates about that until the, you know, the trial starts to happen. Okay. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about, you guys, I've been putting this off for like a week because it is so screwed up, even more than like the normally screwed up shit that I talk about. But it is really messed up. And then I was hoping, I've told you guys before, right, how I like to wait a little bit and then I can get more updates and give you guys more info on stuff, right? Well, I don't know if it's because you know how some stuff can happen and it's really, really bad, right? But if the media doesn't see any kind of big numbers from it, they're not going to post it. They're not going to talk about it. When I had found this, I think there were maybe 3 videos that were really short. I think 2 of them were news. And I had been able to find like 6 that were articles, you know, written word, like newspapers and stuff. When I was trying to look for updates, get this, I can't even find any more of the original reports on it. Like it's, you know, and it's only been a week, maybe a week and a couple days, to where I wasn't able to find any updates at all, let alone the original stuff was gone, but not gone, but it was, you know, when new things come out and the algorithm and everything. So, you know, the videos that I had watched before and the information I got from articles, it was already pushed down the line so much that I couldn't even find the original stuff. And like I said, because this story is so messed up though, but because the media doesn't see any kind of money from it, they're not going to talk about it. And that's fucked up, because when you guys listen to what happened, like, you would think this would be all over the news. It's a pretty shitty deal. Okay. Tariq, What are you asking Jen? Does she strip for a living? Stop it. She does not strip. Oh, because she was working at night, you were saying that? You're messed up, Tariq. Okay. All right, guys, here we go. This is the one that kind of went with my topic, right? Where I'd put the online sleuths get the wrong man killed, which is exactly what happened. If for some reason you don't know what a sleuth is, that's like an amateur detective. Hey, let's talk. A sleuth is like an amateur detective that just kind of, they're not like a real detective. They just kind of do it, whether they do it in their spare time. Some people do this, after work, just, it's relaxing for them. Ever since the internet has been around, it lets people kind of, as we all know, take a story and run with it. So, but sometimes, especially since COVID, I've actually seen a lot of cold cases get solved. I mean, I'm talking about 30-year-old cases, 40-year-old cases. I think I saw like 2 that were like 60 years. And a lot of the people like you and I are just looking online and actually finding clues and spending time on cases that the police don't have time to spend on them. So it's done a lot of positive. I will give it that, the internet with, sleuthing online. But it's also, it's like, what do they say? Like a double-edged sword type of thing, to where it's, it's good and bad at the same time. So let's get into this one. Okay. Like I said, with COVID, people are home. They have a lot more time to do this type of thing. It's good that these cold cases are getting solved and that tips are going into, detectives to help them for current cases. But here's the other side of this, right? We all know and we've seen how easy it is for people to lie, people to accuse people of stuff, especially on YouTube, people to threaten people, people to dox people that they don't even know in real life. I don't really understand that if you don't like someone for some weird reason that you don't even know them in real life, instead of, not stalking the person on YouTube or not trying to ruin their life by calling their job and swatting them and all this bullshit that goes on YouTube, it's almost like there's certain people online that try to hurt people like this, that's what they kind of get off on. It's so weird. People call DCF on people. I mean, slander people. Like, it's just horrible. You guys have seen it. So you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. People will blackmail people. I've seen that too. I don't know if you guys have seen that, to where people might end up, like, someone might send some pictures to a certain person, and then that person is like, okay, I'm going to put your pictures out if you don't give me so and so and so and so. And a lot of people will back down and go with what that person is saying. They'll go with the blackmail, because having to make a complaint about it, will embarrass people sometimes. So, the blackmailer gets away with that a lot more than, they don't. I'm not sure really why they do stuff like they do, torturing people online like that, what they get out of it, like I said. But in my opinion, it's wrong as shit. I'll tell you that. Pretty sure you guys don't like it either. It's wrong. And I do know that slowly but surely, social media and the law, they're starting to make rules and laws against this type of thing. But unfortunately, this is the example, of how would I explain it? You guys will get it when I start to talk about it. It's an example of, the internet gone wrong type of thing, but it's really, really sad and upsetting. So, all right. This happened in DeSoto, Texas. I've never been to Texas, so I really don't know where this is at. I don't know how big of a city or a town it is. So I'm not really sure, but it was in DeSoto, Texas. 19-year-old Cameron Collier was shot and killed, and he was found inside of his car about 2 weeks ago on Thursday. So 2 Thursdays ago. They find him shot and dead in his car. His family ended up having one of the balloon releases for him, like a balloon release ceremony, about 3 days later. And I know you guys know what that is. That's where after somebody passes away before they have the funeral or anything, it's like where they do the candlelight vigil and they let all the balloons up in the air. So his family was having one of those three nights after they had found him. Now, at this balloon release, 20-year-old Kobe Graham was there showing his support for his friend. I guess he was really close to Cameron, who was the one that was found in the car. So Kobe is there trying to show support for his friend. And while he's at the balloon release, Kobe was shot in the head and killed by another person at the ceremony. And yeah, I didn't fuck that up either. We're talking about a nighttime candlelight vigil with balloon releasing. Or no, I think it was in the day. It just went into the night. But basically his best friend that was there trying to support, the guy's family, and he ends up getting murdered right there in front of everybody, shot and killed. Now, obviously, because there were many witnesses to this shit that were, there at the balloon release, the person who killed him was detained immediately, right? Because they knew exactly who did it. Now, here's where it gets even more sad. The person who killed Kobe at the balloon release was 22-year-old Christopher Collier. I don't know if you guys put 2 and 2 together, right? That was Cameron's brother. The one that was shot and found in the car. His older brother, 22 years old, shot his best friend at this balloon release. Sigh. Now you're probably wondering, like I was, right? What the fuck is going on in my A-boy voice? Well, allegedly, after Cameron was found shot in his car, 2 Thursdays ago, people on the internet started doing what they do best, right? Which is a lot of typing and not much fact behind it. I guess there were people that didn't like Kobe, the friend of the boy that was found in the car. So a lot of people started saying that he was the one that killed his friend. They were throwing this all over Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else that they could for about 3 days, right? Because they had the balloon released 3 days after Cameron was found. And so it would have been about 3 days that they were just going ham on the internet trying to bash his friend, saying that, oh yeah, he killed him, he killed him, he killed him. So when Kobe shows up to try to mourn and show support for his dead friend, he's shot and killed by his friend's older brother, who of course he would have known, because they were that close. They hung out all the time. Now the older brother is going to end up facing life or the death penalty. And think about, he's in Texas, like of all places, they're quick to fry people. Ugh. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, get this, guys, right? Get this. It gets even worse. When all this happened and the police started investigating, I can't imagine that. You're still trying to figure out who shot the boy in the car. Now you got to, investigate and do paperwork on the brother that just killed the best friend of the guy that was shot in the car. Let's talk about a thick file. But get this. The police end up investigating, right? Because they're like, okay, there might be some truth to this. If this boy was actually murdered, somebody would have had to, have some sort of proof and everything saying that he had done it. Let's dive into it and investigate him first, even though he's deceased. So they dive into it. The detectives are going at it, doing their investigation they're supposed to do. And they found out that Kobe had 100% absolutely nothing to do with the murder of his friend. Nothing. So basically, his friend's older brother shot him in the head at the balloon release for absolutely nothing. Nothing. While trying to, show support for his friend that was just murdered. I mean, I can't imagine being at a balloon release for my best friend. You're already heartbroken. You don't know what the hell happened. And your friend's older brother just kills you. Like, that's so sad. I don't know the details. You know how they are sketchy and they don't release them all. But I hope that maybe he at least shot him, behind his head. He didn't see him coming at him, because I can't imagine knowing that that's who was going to end my life. And then you don't even get a chance to say anything. It's not like the brother came and confronted him. It's not like, he messaged him and tried to, no, he, ran up to him and put him down. Okay. So, after the investigators had found out that he was completely innocent, they ended up having to interview the older brother, right? Because he's locked up now. And they wanted to find out why he was so sure that Kobe had killed his brother, his younger brother. So that's when apparently, allegedly, the brother that had killed the friend tells detectives that people all over Facebook and, Instagram were telling him and DMing him, saying that they knew that Kobe was the killer. And this situation is really fucked up and bothersome. In the beginning of the story, I was talking about how damaging people are being to other people on the internet just for no damn reason, just because they don't like them. But yet you've never met this person in person, so you have no idea if they're even just doing an act online. And if you don't like them, change the fucking channel. Like, I've never understood that shit. Like, you're just gonna sit there. If I had somebody I didn't like and they rubbed me wrong, I'm not going to watch their channel over and over and over again and just like, that's weird, in my opinion. I mean, I don't get it. That's kind of obsessive and strange to me that you would just sit there and watch somebody that you hate, and it's become such of a big deal or a big part of your life that you're literally trying to ruin their real life. That's just fucking weird. But yeah, so how I was talking about that before, it's really, really damaging, because, saying false information, whether it's on purpose, intentional, I don't know. It's just, it was messed up. It had a really, 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 really bad thing come out of that. Now, like, people need to really understand, like, how dangerous and lasting what they say on the internet is. If you don't like somebody, and I'm not going to use any names or any examples in this, but I have seen this happen. You guys probably have too. People go after people they don't like. They'll put pictures out there of this person. They'll talk about their kids. They'll talk about their family. All types of really low down shit. And once that's on the internet, more than likely that's never going to leave the internet. So, that's going to have lasting effects on somebody's life, let alone if their kids get older and their kids, happen to run across it. That's just, it's sad. The internet is so screwy. But just to know that poor Kobe lost his close friend, only to go to the balloon release and then to be shot and killed by his friend's brother, is a little bit more than just disturbing to me. And to know that if only those stupid assholes that were on the internet for the 3 days were not trying to start rumors just because they didn't like him and didn't say why people didn't like him or whatever, and DMing the brother and getting him hyped up enough to not even, that's another thing too. Like, he did not go and try to get any, what would you say, like not like a second opinion, or like he didn't try to research it and ask people. He was literally just going by what these people were posting online and saying. and he reacted out of emotion and just went with it, and he ruined his life and this other guy's life. Like, that's so sick. Can you imagine being the family, y'all, to where your son, your 19-year-old, just gets found murdered in a car? 3 days later, your older son kills his best friend. Like, I can't imagine what that family's going through, because you just lost two. One's going to be in jail for life at least if he doesn't get the death penalty. That's so sad. And they're so young again. So young. I can't imagine being murdered at 19. Like, you haven't even started a life. But I wish that the brother would have tried to do, like I said, a little bit of digging for information on his own. Maybe he would have saw that some of the rumors didn't make that much sense, and they had no backing behind him, and he would have thought about it before he ended up, killing him like he did. Oh, and that's another thing too, guys, that I just remembered. These kids were not bad kids, right? One, I think it was, oh, I'm not going to lie, you guys. I don't know if it was the 19-year-old or the 22-year-old. I wasn't able to find out, but one of them was in college. And I think it was the 22-year-old that had been, pre-Olympic training at one time or another. Like, I mean, they all were really on a good path. They were not bad kids, ripping and running the street and like doing anything bad. Oh, and that's another thing too, guys. Think about this. The police are all over what had happened, but how about the real killer that ended up killing the friend in the beginning in the car? He's still out there somewhere, right? They haven't caught him yet. That sucks. So, like, they've got all this shit happening. The poor family's lost 2 of their kids. The other family that would have been close to this family, more than likely, they've lost their kid over something dumb as shit. And now the real killer is still out there running around doing whatever. That's wild. But, I mean, social media, right, in my opinion, it's been around long enough that they need to start stepping it up and make laws against, the bullshit. They really do. If someone's using a media outlet, like whether it be Instagram, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, to spread lies on people, they could ultimately get somebody hurt. Or if they're doxing people, calling DCF on people, swatting people, that person or people, they need to be held accountable for that. This shit needs to stop. It's not, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And like I said before, if you don't like how somebody does things on their channel, or if you don't like their content, or if you don't like how they breathe, no matter what it is, right? Then don't watch their shit. Don't watch them. It's that simple. Why on earth is somebody so bothered by someone they don't know? That's troubling as hell to think that people are like literally just, I can't stop watching this person that, literally just rubs my fur backwards. I hate them. Like, they're horrible. I'm going to try to ruin their life and, F their kids and their parents and da 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 da. That's just really, that's that mental illness shit. That shit is not normal. I don't care what people say. Even if the person did say something bad about you, shoot your shot back at them and then, go the other way, because you're going to end up looking like the idiot obsessing over whoever is talking shit. They're doing that on purpose. But people starting rumors and, trying to get people in trouble, like I said, when they have no knowledge, about how this person really is in real life. I mean, they've got to start making something to where these people are going to be held accountable. They've got to, because like I said, it's just going to get worse. It really is. And the way the world is right now, people do not need to be calling police on people, period. Especially for no fucking reason but just to swat somebody. There was a man, I think that happened in Texas too, that somebody had swatted. They didn't even know this guy. This was sad too. I guess the kid had just thought of an address. He made up an address somewhere and he called in and swatted that address. And I don't remember how old the guy was. He wasn't that old. I think he was in his 30s. Well, a whole bunch of cops show up, of course. And I think it was, the 30-year-old son, the mom. I think there were like two sisters, and I'm not sure if there was a dad there or not. But he steps outside because he can hear the police like, come on with your hands up. Bleh. So he opens the door. He's got his fucking phone in his hand, and that's the classic thing, right? I thought I saw a gun type shit, but it was a reflection of a phone. And they freaking put his ass down. They shot him. He just opened the door and they shot him dead. All over this asshole boy making up an address and, just calling and swatting somebody. I think when he swatted him, he had said that I had murdered my mother and that I've got my sister in the closet or something like that. That was the SWAT that boy called and said. And just like with that one police shooting of the 16-year-old girl, right? When people were saying that, they ended up finding out that it wasn't her that called the police, it was the girl in the pink. But when a cop pulls up on a scene like that, they don't know who's in the right or who's in the wrong. That's the bad part too about that stuff, because you have to make a split second decision, and it's horrible. You don't know what to do. I know in the military when they would teach us to do that, that's one of the most nerve-wracking fucking things to think about, because I always used to get so scared thinking about, like, you could easily shoot a child or shoot a woman instead of, like, the enemy. Like, it's very nerve-wracking, I'll tell you that. I don't know how cops feel, but I know in my position it was nerve-wracking as shit, and I did not want to be put in that position any more than I had to. So like I said, they've got to start. It's been too long. Facebook's been around. Shit, what was before Facebook, you guys? Oh, dumb shit. MySpace. Remember MySpace? So we've had these social media things for years. There should already be some law out there, to punish these people, period. And you shouldn't have to take them to like fucking civil court or some weird thing like that. If you can show an email or a certain amount of whatever that they've done this, and then, whether DCF or the police or whatever can can back it up what you're saying, that person needs to be prosecuted. I've never thought about what kind of charges or anything, but something, because then people would think twice. Well, the mentally ill window lickers wouldn't think twice, but people, normal people, they might think twice about doing it before they do, because they know that they might, put their ass in jail. So they need to go ahead and fix that. Hold on real quick, guys. Okay, I had to grab my drink. I'm going to check the comments. Oh, let me go in. I'm going to drop the link just in case somebody wants to come up. Alrighty. Let me post it. Paste. Yay, it worked. All right. Let me check the comments real quick, guys. And if anybody wants to hit the link and come up, go ahead. Go ahead. Tariq, she said, she said today is her Monday. Tariq, you're a mess. Oh my God, Tariq, shut the fuck up. I didn't think of that. Oh my God. That would be a super chess move, wouldn't it? Whoa. The real killer probably started the rumor about who killed the kid. What the shit? I never thought about that one. Oh my gosh, that would be fucked up, wouldn't it? That'd be a movie. Like I said, that would be like the chess move of the century. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. It makes sense though. I mean, from their point of view. That's wild, Tariq. That's crazy you thought about that. That is wild. That is really wild. But yeah, this case, you guys, like I said, I wasn't able to find anything in the news about it. I was only able to find a couple articles and maybe two, news things about it when it happened. So I'm going to try, even though we know that the brother murdered the best friend, I still want to try to follow it and see what happens, because I want to know what they're going to charge the brother with, because, will the brother be able to use a crime of passion? I was thinking about that, right? Because if he was just going off of emotion, which he was, his brother had just gotten murdered 3 days before. All these people are telling him online that his best friend killed him. Could he use the defense of, crime of passion and get less time for it? That's a thought. I didn't think of that. So we'll have to wait and see. So like I said, I'm definitely going to follow this one too, even though we know who, murdered him and everything. I want to know what they're going to charge the brother with. Because he could try, if he's got a good lawyer, he could, really try that. Because he's fully functioning, so they can't go for like insanity, really. The only thing that's kind of related to emotional is that one, so we'll see. Ooh, did you guys hear about, this happened in Texas too. The two sheriff deputies that were killed on, I think it was Monday, if I remember right. I think it was Monday, but there were two deputies that were killed, right? In, this was in Texas too. It was like a real small town. Concho County, Texas. I think that's what it was. But it was really small. I mean, they only have like 1,300 for their population. 1,300 people in their whole town. So like that's a small ass town. And yeah, it happened at Monday in the evening. I want to say it was like 8 o'clock in the evening, 8:30, if I remember correctly. And this one was messed up too, right? Because there was a call to police to go and assist on a dog complaint. Allegedly a man named Jeffrey. Yeah, his name was Jeffrey. Jeffrey, oh, he had like two first names. Jeffrey Nicholas. Okay. The dog complaint was against him at his address, right? He's only 28, by the way. And like I said, he lived at the address that the complaint was coming from. And I guess because this town is so small, everybody knows each other. And he has dogs, obviously. But he was known for letting his dogs be outside. And he would tell his dogs to chase people down the road. And he would tell his dogs to bite people. I wasn't able to find out what kind of dogs that he had, but he would just do shit like that to be a dick, right? So, and I hate it when people do that shit, because if your dog bites someone, it gets put down. And, without being told or trained to do so, that dog wouldn't have bit somebody. More than likely, it does happen, but more than likely it wouldn't have. So I hate when people do that and their animal has to be put down. I'm too much of an animal lover for that shit. But this guy Jeffrey was known for doing that shit, letting his dogs terrorize people in the neighborhood. I remember that they had interviewed a neighbor, and the neighbor had said that he saw the two sheriffs pull up, and I think they were in the SUV trucks. So the two sheriffs pull up, they get out of their vehicle. They had a city worker with them too. And okay, let me think. They didn't say why the city worker was with them, though. I don't know if it was a ride along. I'm not sure. It couldn't have been a ride along, though, because the city worker got out of the vehicles when the police got out of the vehicles. If you're with a cop for a ride along or something, they don't let you get out. So maybe it was some sort of animal, person or something like that. Oh yeah, I bet you it was, right? Because if you get in trouble for animals, like I don't know, say you don't water your pet and you've got them outside and somebody calls on you, they've got the animal services that will come out and say, get your shit together, we're taking your dog. That was probably who that was. So the neighbor had said he watched the two police get out of their vehicles and the city person. And he said that he heard, "Drop it, Jeff, drop it." And then he heard the shots, right? And what does that tell us? That tells us that one of the police officers knew this guy well enough to call him Jeff, not even Jeffrey. And that's crazy. So this town is so small, you know everybody. And the officer didn't want to shoot him because he knew him good enough to call him Jeff. And, Jeff put him in the dirt. So the neighbor said that shots were fired. And it was Sergeant Stephen Jones and Deputy Samuel, I can't remember his last name. Oh, I can't remember his last name, but they were killed. And the city employee was shot in the stomach and rushed, I think it was 45 minutes away to like the closest hospital. So the city worker is still in critical condition with a shot to the stomach, like I had said. And the two police were killed at the scene. They didn't even make it to the hospital. They were DOA on arrival. Jeffrey now, with his evil dog training ass, he's being charged with 2 charges of capital murder of a peace officer. And his bond, of course, is like $1 million, so they can't get out. They should have made it 10 million. But, oh, and I was able to dig up his the only past record I could find on him. And remember, he was 28. The only past record I could find on him was terroristic threats and drug possession. That was it on that guy. So, which doesn't really, it doesn't, usually you see people have violent crimes or robberies or something like that before they end up killing people. But all he had, I mean, maybe he does, I just couldn't find it. Because like I said, all I could find was the robbery or the terroristic threats and the drug possession. That was it. No robbery, no nothing. So I'm not sure about that. That was the only, like I said, that was the only thing I was able to find though. So, hey, Rich Mo, how's your Friday evening going? How's it going? How's it going? Shout out to everyone that's here. Thank you guys for coming. It means everything. But yeah, those 2 deputies were killed. The city workers in critical. All over a damn dog complaint. That's crazy. And I can't imagine being like, whether you're a cop or not, but think about going, you're living your normal mundane life, doing nothing, and, during COVID, and then you end up getting murdered and never even saw it coming. I don't know. Is that the best way for it to happen, where you don't see it coming? That's a whole nother topic. Well, okay. You guys remember how I was saying that because these articles that I do, they're usually pretty damn depressing. And then I was going to try to find some fun stuff to talk about, to throw in with the mix, because like I said, they're sad and they kind of wear on you after, seeing how evil the world really is. And there's no shortage of craziness to go around. But I was able to, the link is down there too, you guys. So if anybody wants to come up, you're more than welcome. But I kind of found a funny thing that had happened. I think it's funny, but I'm going to say it's funny only because nobody got hurt. But this had happened in Brazil, right? A man went into a convenience store, and this is all on camera because the convenience store had a camera that was like, okay, if you walk into a gas station or a convenience store, you guys know how, like, you've got the door. So on the top of where that door is, the main door, there was a camera, and it was facing the cashier station and part of the store. So, like, you got a full view of, like, all of this when it happened. But the guy goes in the convenience store, and, well, he ran into the store, kind of, and he's got a gun out, right? So you can see him pointing the gun at the cashier, and, he's basically telling him, like, give me whatever in the hell you got. Well, while he's doing this, right, there was an old woman. She was old. She looked probably like 75 plus, maybe older. I'm horrible at guessing age, but she was at the register while this guy's doing all this, right? So he's holding his gun up. And how about the little old lady? I can't wait till I can show you guys videos. The little old lady, I might even show you this when I do get a computer, but she reaches up with her and she's way shorter than the guy, right? And he's got like a helmet on, like a motorcycle helmet. And he's holding the gun to the cashier guy, and the cashier guy has his hand up and he's trying to reach for the money. And the little old lady turns towards the robber, right? And she puts both of her hands up to kind of, you know how old ladies will like try to grab your cheeks or whatever and stuff. That's how she looked, right? So she had her hands up and reached up, I guess, to give the guy a kiss. And she had told him, "Take my money, it's okay." And the man, this was so wild, right? The man ends up grabbing her hands, you know, as she's trying to reach him for his face. He grabs both of her hands, you know, and one of them with the gun in his hand. He could multitask, so he's got the gun in his hand and he's, you know, grabbing her hands at the same time. He ends up putting her hands down next to her and giving her a kiss on the forehead. When she was like, you know, he could take her money too. I guess, you know, I thought to myself when I watched this, even though he's robbing this store, he's got like manners, right? So it made me think that maybe, you know, maybe he was like just in a really bad situation and he really needed money. So he was doing that. You know, he could be a total douche canoe. I don't know. But it was so strange when he did that because normally, you know, if people are robbing people, they don't give a shit. They're going to try to like take whatever they can get. Um, so it was it was really strange watching it because, like I said, he just reached up and grabbed her arms, put him down by her side, and gave her a kiss on the forehead. So I guess his grandmother or mother or whoever, they, you know, were raising him right, besides this thing that he was doing. So, which is what, strong armed robbery. And he didn't end up shooting anybody or anything like that. He got the money and he just ran back out. So that was at least a good thing. Okay. One other thing that I found that was kind of funny. I couldn't find out the date when this happened, but and I was only able to find one article on this, you guys. One, like that was it. I don't know if there's more now, but just one. So I've only got a teeny amount of information, but allegedly some man had stolen a case of COVID-19 vaccinations, right? Now, I don't know if you guys have heard or if you remember, I was talking to people before about the vaccination. It's got to be kept at a certain amount of cool, like it's refrigerated. So there was some place, I can't remember where they had all these vaccines in their freezer, cooler, whatever, and it ended up breaking. So they had to give all those vaccines to people within like, oh, I think it was less than 24 hours. It was like 12 hours. And back then when this happened, they were only giving it to like frontline employees and things of that nature. So people flocked to get the vaccine because they had ended up putting out signs and I think they announced it on the radio where they were like, if you get down here within like, you know, 45 minutes or half an hour, we'll give you the shot, the vaccination. So it was kind of a cool thing that they did that way. You know, that way it didn't go to waste. But that's just proving it has to be cooled. You can't just have it at room temperature. So this man allegedly steals a whole case of COVID-19 vaccinations. I don't know where, now that I think about it, this man did this shit. You would think they'd be highly guarded. Maybe he did some Mission Impossible come through the ceiling type shit. I don't know, but he ended up getting a case of it. Then how about when he looks in the box that he stole and he finds out that they're COVID vaccinations, right? He ends up going back to where he stole them from and putting them back. Not only does he put them back because he has a conscience, he ends up leaving a note saying how sorry he is about taking the vaccinations. And I thought that was kind of crazy. I was like, oh, what the heck? He's tripping. See? So, ooh, if you think it, no, I was going to say, No, he wouldn't have done that on purpose. Because you know, when people want vaccinations or something like that, if it was life and death, he could have really made some money selling those, but they wouldn't have been any good if they would have went past the 12th hour or however long it is. I think it's under 24 hours. I do know that. But I thought that was kind of different. Just like the guy kissing the grandma while he's doing strong-armed robbery. Like this guy. He ends up returning, the COVID vaccinations he stole and leaving a note saying how sorry he is. I don't know. I thought those were kind of funny. They were very rare at the least. So those are my funny ones that I mixed in with this right now. Yes. Do you guys have any questions about any of it? Anything at all? Anything at all? If you do, like I said, you're more than welcome to come up or just shoot it in the chat if you have any questions or anything like that. But yeah, I thought that one about the 19-year-old where his best friend got killed at the balloon release, I thought that was really sad. Really, really sad. And that's crazy, Tariq, like I said, where you would put the real killer probably started the rumor about who killed the kid. I mean, that is wild. That is wild. I give it to you on that one. You thought about that. That's crazy. So, what do you guys have planned for the weekend? YouTubing like me? I'm not sure. I got to get a hold of Larry and see. I think he's going to go live tonight to continue the Dead Horse tour because NASA and him did their GTA last night. And he was going to go live after that, but I think he was tired. So more than likely he'll go live tonight. I will have to find out. But if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end it. I've been here for like an hour and almost 15 minutes. This is a short show, y'all. I've got another article or two, so Larry will probably go live. If he doesn't, no, I'll probably go live tomorrow because I've got one that's really crazy to talk about. But if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. That way I was able to get, my articles off to you guys. I definitely wanted to do the Pop Smoke one before I got too old and everybody knew what happened. And then I wanted to definitely tell you guys about the 19-year-old because that was so sad. Oh, and like I told you guys, there was no info on that. The media hadn't, wasn't blasting it. And that's like a twisted case. Like that's some movie shit. And, nobody's talking about it. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. Like I said, salute to everybody that came by. Shout out to Jen. I think she's working now. Lady Fresh and Fresh Brown, I think they're sleeping. They got to get on the road really late. Oh, shoot. They're going to be on the road at like 3 in the morning. Well, if Larry goes live, we'll still be live. But if he doesn't go live, maybe I'll go live for a little bit so they can have something to listen to. Shout out to NASA. Shout out to Laura. And where was the Vicks? Duh. Shout out to Vic Damone's Dry Cleaning Services, Inc. That's a mess. Shout out to Tariq. Shout out to Let's Talk. Lady Fresh, you're still woke. You're supposed to be sleeping, woman, and getting your rest. You guys have to be driving. I know I could never do that either. Like most of the time when I had to be on the road at night, I wouldn't be. It's hard to change your sleep pattern. Like, have you guys ever worked like a night job and you get so used to working at night, and then if they give you a day off, you know, you still are up all night when everybody else is asleep. It like ruins your whole social life. Yes, Lady Fresh, you have to get your rest. You're gonna be on that road. Don't worry, like I said, you'll be up at 3 or 4. Okay, 4 my time. Okay, cool. Like I said, if Larry ends up not going live, I've got, you know, a couple more articles that I can talk about that I've already done the research on and all that. Or maybe I'll just hop on and shoot the ish. But yeah, if he goes live, then you know we'll still be live when you guys get up and start driving. If not, I'll hop on for you guys so you have something to listen to. It's Friday, why not? But like I said, shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for coming by. I'm glad you guys were here. And I will talk to you guys soon. Like I said, remember too, if you guys want me to my Instagram is coming soon. But if you guys want me to talk about you know, like a certain anything, like a certain case or a certain subject, and you want me to research it because you don't have time or anything like that, just put it in the comments. You know, once I put my Instagram out there, then you guys can do the DM thing, I think it's called. And then I can get it. But yeah, like if you guys want me to do anything, just let me know. And I will see you guys soon. Thank you for coming, guys, again. Be careful out there, by the way. The world is a big toilet full of shit. Bye, guys.